Welcome to Life with a Guitar.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is my brother Chandler. Chandog, Bryce. Dear friend, and as you can tell, a wonderful guitar player. We just made that up. We just started taping. This is Life with a Guitar. Welcome, Chandler.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Man, good to have you here. We've known each other for a long time.
Long time.
Got into quite a bit of mischief together. And we played a lot of guitar together, and we still do. Gonna have some questions for you tonight. Some basic ones. We're gonna jam a little bit. And just enjoy ourselves.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah. So, man, like I said, we've known each other for a while. We've both taught some guitar. We've worked in a guitar store.
Yeah.
Here's a little bit of background for both of us, you know. By the way, my friends call me Fongo, so I'm here. This is our second episode. I'm so proud to have my brother here with me. And first question I got for you is, what is your first memory of guitar or music in general?
I remember this one. I've told a couple people this one. It's a very fond memory. It was me playing guitar, but I think it's inspiration of guitar and just music in general. Is my dad worked at the shop, years. So I grew up there, being there Saturdays and whatnot. And I remember "Hey Joe" was cranked, Jimi Hendrix, and I was a little kid just cracking up. You know, it's the thought that Hey Joe, my mom, woman sleeping around and whatnot, just cracking up at that. And I think that's my first memory of acknowledging music. As a kid, you danced to it, whatever, but acknowledging a song, and one of my first memories of it, and happens to be Jimi Hendrix in a guitar shop. So that's one that I kind of think about and hold on to.
Wow. So you're a big fan of Jimmy then, right? If you've kind of weaned into him.
Yeah. It took me a while to appreciate it, but yeah. I went through a phase of he just kind of sounds sloppy, and then you listen to it again a couple years later, and it's like, he was saying something.
Yeah. So like after that first taste, man, like did you get a guitar, or would you start playing?
No, actually, I went the drum route. My sister played guitar and my dad played guitar, so I thought.
What grade were you in there?
Let's see. I remember a drum set showing up. I want to say second grade.
No kidding.
Second grade. So that one.
7.
Yes, 7. I think 8. I think I was 8 because my birthday's right at the beginning of the year.
Wow, great.
So I think I was 8, and I think that's I started on drums. I wanted to be a drummer, and that's why I didn't touch guitar or bass or anything for at least 7-8 years. Seriously. I knew a couple new chords here and there, but nothing serious.
Right. So you got into drums. Did you do anything in like high school band and that kind of thing? Yeah.
I did a couple years of the band and did all through middle school, and jazz band, and played percussion, and it was all the drums and drum line and whatnot.
Yeah.
And it was high school. That's when I started seeing other musicians that were playing other instruments. A couple of buddies were playing bass and guitar, and it's like, they're tearing it up, and they're doing something with it. So. So it wasn't soon after that I decided the slow transition to bass first from drums.
Oh yeah, you've kind of been a journeyman of sorts,
Yeah, I've gone through the phases. Yeah.
I always remember volunteering you for shit all the time.
Yeah, that got me into some situations that had to stick out. We got a couple different little loop chords that I like doing.
Who needs a band?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I've been. That's the band right there.
Yeah.
That's been the main thing I've been doing for years now. So a little loop pedal, a little ditto loop pedal, and octave for the bass, delay, wah, a couple different sounds. Get some tricky shit going.
Yeah. So like, second question. What has guitar done for you?
I think it's given me something that I don't know, something that's like easy to come back to. It's something that sounds. It's kind of like riding a bike, where it's always there.
It's always there for you.
Yeah, it's just something that, you know, did it through school. Something to just keep me busy, and to kind of, you know, I thought it looked cool, and I thought it sounded cool, and you know, I wanted to make those sounds. And
I don't care what they say. You do it for one reason.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you get hooked.
Yeah, and then it's something that's just something it starts as a hobby, and then it becomes something that it's just you do. That's just what you do. You know, it's something. You know, some people don't eat breakfast. That's what they do. You know, some people play guitar, and that's what they do. And so that's kind of what it is. You know.
Right. I got you. So, what was your first guitar?
Like I said, there were my sister played and my dad played, so there were always a couple guitars sitting around that I would pick up and kind of, you know, take to my room, just YouTube and learn some chords here and there. And so I think my first personal guitar though was a bass guitar. Was a used. It was like a Rogue, like one of those real cheap Rogues, I think it was. Yeah. And that was the first stringed instrument that was mine. So I went into bass guitar. That was the first one. And I remember when I bought it, I could only afford the bass. I couldn't afford the amp yet. So what I would do is I'd stick the amp the headstock up against the drywall in my room up in the basement. You know, there's no insulation in there. I'd get some sort of a tone coming from the wall,
nice.
And I'd sit there and learn my first songs. And it was a couple weeks later.
Transferring that vibration, man.
Yeah, so that was my first amp for my bass, was sticking the headstock up against the drywall and hearing through that, and making it just a little bit louder. And then a couple weeks later, I could get the amp, little amp for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, my first foray into stringed instruments was bass. That was my little transition from drums to stringed instrument.
Oh, sweet.
And I stayed with that for a few years, you know, until I, you know, got serious about guitar too. You know, picked a few things from bass, transferred to guitar. And, you know, knew a few more chords and how to handle them. But it was bass.
What about six string? When you finally get into that and get you a good first six string?
I want to say it was an acoustic, and I want to say it was a.
Was it that old Washburn looking thing?
I think my first, if it was the Washburn, it was the Comfort series.
Oh,
Comfort series. That was my first serious guitar. You know, that was the first real acoustic that I had. It was that Comfort series.
Yeah.
I think it was a little solid top and Comfort series. It had that little scoop in the back.
Right.
Sounded all right, but because it was thin, you know. But I think it was acoustic then. The little Comfort series.
Right. Yeah, I remember those guitars. Those were nice.
Yeah. I think I was going through a phase where I was buying and trading stuff, you know. So I think I only had that less than a year.
Yeah.
You know, then it was, I saw something come through, and I got that Washburn Antique series that,
Yeah. Oh yeah, we've all got stories about that.
Yeah. Well, some stuff I wish I would have held on to.
Oh yeah.
In the past couple of years, I don't sell anything now. I don't trade anything, you know.
Yeah.
The few things that I do trade is stuff that I don't even think about anymore and I have no connection to.
Right.
But most of my collections is staying put, you know.
Yeah.
I've been burnt too many times. That's something I've kind of come up with. Worked on a little bit recently. Was the
Yeah, I hear you there. Let's see. Who was your first guitar teacher?
I never took any serious lessons, so I would say probably just being in the shop with Matt and you, and watching that. That was my big. I always tell people, I was spoiled in that aspect. I'd get off school, go work at Wagner's, and watch good musicians play, and I'd watch their hands, and even if it was 3 notes that I picked up where they sound cool together, I'd watch that, and then I'd pick up a guitar and try that and do it over until I heard what I heard them play.
Well, it's true. You were getting a lesson every day.
So I would say that was my first teacher. Was just
I never really thought of it that way.
Because I took a few serious lessons with Matt. He pushed me. He gave me something that I'm still using today, and gave me that next step. But my first teacher was just the environment. Just being around it, being absorbed. Watching better. Being in a room where people are better than me. And picking up what they're doing. Yeah. So that was my first teacher.
Yeah, that's the best way to learn, man.
It gave me. You learn quick. When it's something every day.
Yeah, and you're immersed in it constantly.
I recently learned.
Rock and roll hoochie coo.
Yeah.
I thought I know that one. I know that song. When did you start your first band, and what was the name?
That was Dr. C and the Toaster Ovens.
I remember that. You guys had some vinyl out there at the time, or was it just CDs at the time?
We just had the vinyls and the singles on cassettes that we were selling.
Gotcha.
Yeah. No, we were
Dr. C and the what?
Dr. C and the Toaster Ovens. And that's we never did anything. It was our first little band in grade school, and enough to do some practices and play through some songs. What happened was I have a couple older friends, and so when I was in middle school or end of elementary and middle school, they were in high school, and so they had a few more connections. And I had an older friend that played guitar. I played drums still at the time. I didn't even think about stringed instruments. Yeah. And he had a buddy that played bass, and so that's a band. We none of us are driving. We're still none of us old enough to drive, so we don't have something to transport my drums around. A big drum set.
Right.
And so we get to the bassist's house, and we go around the garage, and I've got no drum set. They can play guitar and whatnot. Well, what we did is we found a toaster oven out in the garage and filled it full of nails and like bolts and kind of give it a little bit of rattle to it, and some boxes and whatnot, and there were pieces in the garage, from like a garage sale.
Yeah.
And made a drum set enough to where you sounded like a kick and it had a rattle of a snare. I'd play little beats and they would play the guitar parts. And then eventually we bought a little first act for $50, little drum set.
Yeah.
And we kept that at the bassist house. We all pitched in money to pay for that first act, and then we kept it at the bassist house, and that was my drum set that we played on. We jammed little songs and whatnot, but we were kids. There were more distractions. Nobody was. We thought we were serious about it.
So who was Dr. C?
That was up to debate. That was up to debate because my buddy, his name is Corey, with the C, and Chandler with the C. So it was kind of up to debate with that. I think we mentioned saying, it's a mystery. Could be any of us.
Oh, gotcha.
So we never settled on it. But this lasted through summer, maybe a couple months of jamming together. Nice. Then, interband drama. It happens and.
Well, and from then on, you just went on to be kind of like a sideman.
I did a lot of that. Yeah. I did that. Did a little bit of that.
Picked up a lot of side work along the way.
Yep. Played little shows, filled in
a little bit everything, bass, guitar, and drums.
Yeah. Played in the High School Musical.
Yeah.
I got hired to do that. And, played with a couple people and here and there.
Oh yeah.
Bass, drums.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Never a solid band after that. Just here and there, just hired.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a couple other more trippy, the choir or something that I'm just in a straight distortion.
Yeah. That blue box.
Yeah, this one usually. Turn that on to volume pedal, yeah.
You do a little volume pedal there.
I was looking at him today.
Cool. Okay, so how did you get into teaching?
I was forced into that. I was coerced.
You were?
And forced.
Who the fuck would do that to you?
Somebody twisted my arm until I eventually did it.
Yeah.
I was terrified of
Was
it.
he kind of a bastard?
Kinda, yeah, kinda. Some people would call him that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was you that forced me into it, and for the longest time I said, nope, I'm not a teacher. I don't teach. I don't want that pressure. I don't want the I don't know enough to show somebody anything.
Right.
I had that kind of the imposter syndrome, and I at least for a year.
I know. You were pretty resistant.
I declined. I said, no, I'm not teaching. I'm not going to do that. And then I was forced to it at school to show one of your students, and jazz band, that it was one of your students at the shop.
Yeah.
And so I sat down with her and walked through some stuff, and I was like, I could do that for a half hour. That was easy, I guess I do know something. I do know something, I guess,
Yeah.
So then, I would have nightmares about it. I remember telling you I had nightmares about
I do remember that.
having to substitute teach for whatever.
Yeah.
And I remember having nightmares, and eventually, I did it. I did it at school, and I was like, I actually wasn't so bad, having to do it. And I came to you, and I was like, I think I'm ready to teach. And so then after that, I printed off a schedule, and when people came in looking for a teacher, he said, hey, I know a guy.
Yeah. This guy right here.
Yeah. I did that for about 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. You got what was it? Guitar, bass, and ukulele.
Yeah, guitar, bass, and mostly guitar. A couple bass students, and then a couple ukulele students.
Yeah.
And that always keeps you on your toes,
It does. There's different instruments.
Yeah. But teaching was nice, because you teach yourself as much as you're teaching them. You're internalizing.
Isn't that the truth, though? I mean, you just kind of you teach somebody something, and it's like as you're working it out, it's like, oh, well, we could also do this too, and then you're just trying to,
Yep.
I've been accused of turning on the fire hose when I teach.
Yeah.
It's like, here's all this information, now go.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's easy to put too much out there when you're teaching.
Yeah.
Because you think, oh, I can do this. I know this. This is very simple. Here, let me show you. Here's how you do this. Now put your fingers there.
Yeah.
And it takes a few lessons before you realize, okay, well, they're just where I was 20 years ago, or 10 years ago, or however long ago when you started. And you got to think back to that struggle.
Yeah.
Oh God, what? My fingers are screaming. What's the matter?
Not going where they want you want to.
Exactly. And like we were talking earlier before we started, it's just, you've got to ingrain that riff or that lick in to this and your brain to be able to execute it smoothly every time. And that can get repetitive for some people.
Yeah, some people.
The benefit, is, getting that beautiful note, Right there in the A's.
Isn't she lovely?
I'll ask you this question.
What's that?
What genres are you comfortable playing?
No. And
maybe we could explore some of those genres as we talk about them.
Like a lot of rock, a little light jazz chords, it's nothing too crazy. Yeah. It's hard to put a genre to it, just a little bit of everything. I'll get inspired by something, where started listening to a lot of country out of nowhere, and then I started wanting to learn a little country licks and a little here and there, and then I go through phases where it's like I like heavier stuff, so my guitar's all down tuned and playing a couple songs heavier, and it's like okay, I have my fill of that, then kind of goes back and forth. So I've played a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I'm fluent in everything, but I said I've dipped my toes in a little bit of everything.
Yeah, sweet.
And I'm willing to learn anything.
Sweet, bro. That was nice.
Yeah, I remember that one. That was the one. What's
Yeah.
that called?
Yeah.
What's that one called?
F sharp News Blues.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
I forgot a couple of those chords in there, but I remember.
Yeah, F sharp, D9, A sharp, or A flat 9, A minor 7th.
It was tucked away somewhere.
Yeah, it's in there somewhere. So there's a few genres you're comfortable with, then, right?
Yeah, a couple, yeah.
Cool. Yeah, well, that covers that question pretty nicely. Cool. That was awesome. I like that. This is my favorite question of pretty much anybody with guitar, but I used to baffle my students with this. If you were a chord, what would you be? It's a little bit metaphysical.
There's a couple I
It
like.
encompasses basically everything that you are in one chord.
I mean, there's a couple chords I like, but I don't know if they would describe certain things.
But they does a chord describe me? That's what you're thinking of.
What chord describes you?
That's the chord I'm looking for.
For you?
In an essence.
Or for me? My chord?
Well, I know what describes me. F sharp
Okay.
minor 7th.
Okay.
That's me in a nutshell. So, think of your life experiences. Think where you are now.
I would like to say, it'd be one of those major sevenths,
Oh,
C
that's a
major
beautiful
7,
chord.
F major 7.
Yeah.
I really like those chords.
Yeah.
I don't know if everybody would agree with that. That's that chord describes me. I'd like to think so. Yeah.
I think it fits you perfectly, bro.
Okay.
Honestly.
Well, that's all I needed then. I just need a little bit of,
No, yeah.
really like those.
I don't think I could pick a better chord for you. Yeah. Yeah, that's a beautiful answer. Thank you. So, and this is another really soul-searching question. Has there ever been a song that you have not wanted to learn because you didn't want to ruin the mystique of it? And this is a question that Stick asked me on the first episode. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh, he asked this question?
He said, I got a question for you.
Oh.
So, yeah, sure. What?
Well, thank you for the
And it was
question,
like,
Stick.
Oh, I've never, and yeah, there have been for me.
It's
A lot of Pink Floyd songs, just like,
true, yeah.
They're so beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be able to do them justice.
Right.
It's easy to learn,
yeah.
but, it would kind of like shatter the illusion, I guess to say.
Right, yeah, that illusion of, you just enjoy what it is and not thinking about how it's being played, I don't think I've ever had the self-control to stop myself from learning those songs, but then there's always those songs where they become part of my guitar songs, that I play on guitar, and then when I hear them, it's like I just think of playing guitar, rather than listening to the song and kind of enjoying it. After you learn it or learn the solo to something, in my head, it's hard to not picture the fingerings for it and how he's actually going, rather than just listening to how it's coming out,
Yeah.
So I don't think I've ever had the self-control to stop myself from learning a song,
I never really have either.
But I do. I have it's a. He's right. Ruining the magic of it. It's like once you know how it's coming out.
Yeah, that's true.
It doesn't sound so much like an animal. It's more. Sounds more mathematical about it.
Right. So, what is your proudest moment in guitar? I know you're still a young man. You got a lot of life ahead of you.
Yeah. And
a lot of guitar playing, I'm sure, because of that beautiful guitar you have in your hands.
I hope so.
It's hard to put that rascal down.
I hope so. Yeah. She's been played the past couple of weeks.
Yes.
Right now, I would say, I haven't done much outside of teaching and hired gun stuff. But I would say watching the few students that really took off with it.
Yeah.
Take off with it. I think that's I always got more excited about them playing it right than they did. As soon as they played it right, that's it right there. I told them, it's like that was perfect. You're going exactly where you should be. So the few student, the handful, I should say, a good sized handful of the students that did have that natural music ability and that natural, they wanted to play. It wasn't just something their parents put them in. It wasn't something, that they're just, it'd be kind of fun. Like they want to learn songs and they want to, they want to come in and show me how they got better since the past week. So I think those ones that really took off with it, I think that's my proudest moment with, in music, is teaching somebody else and kind of pushing them along the way until they got it, and they come in the next week and they show me stuff that they've been working on, that I didn't even tell them to work on.
Yeah.
And they're getting better, and some of them are starting to get to a point where they got a better ear than me, and they're starting to almost outplay me, and it's like I should be taking lessons from you at this point. I've had a couple of those.
Oh yeah.
Where it's they just have that natural ability, that they just pick it up, and in no time they're playing solos, they're learning songs that would take me a little bit to learn, and I learned it last night, and can you show me how to play this? And it's like, yeah, let me learn it, and they're already playing it better than I am, So yeah, I think that would be it, is watching the people, especially when I've had them. A couple of my students I had the whole time I taught, I had for years, so I watched them, not only grow as musicians, but grow up as kids,
Yeah.
And no one seeing them every week. You kind of get involved in their their day-to-day stuff, and
Sure.
so it's you build these relationships with these students, and then you watch them flourish as musicians on top of it,
Yeah.
So that was always my proudest moment, I think, that I miss.
Yeah.
So. So that's what I was doing.
That's fucking
Play a
awesome.
loop and then just put a little bass line, from the octave pedal.
It's got a radiness in the sound. That's a good one to have. What is your worst moment in guitar?
I hate to say it, but I think that first Yellow River Festival.
Oh, yeah.
You had some stuff going on, and I had
my wife had to be in the emergency room.
Yeah, some stuff going on the day of, and I tried to step in, and
she was going into surgery just as the time we should be starting the show.
Yeah,
I was there, got everything set up,
yeah.
and it was like, you get this call from my sister, they're taking her in the emergency room, you need to get over here.
Yeah.
It's like, and you were how old at that point?
I couldn't have been more than 15, 16.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it would have been that summer I was 15.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I thought I could do it. I thought, okay, we'll just get the kids up there, and yeah, just things weren't going right, and obviously because 15-year-old trying to that has no idea what's going on, trying to.
Well,
run.
hey man, for what had to happen, from what I heard from everybody, you did an awesome job of corralling those kids.
We got through a couple songs. We made it through a couple that they had, a couple out off the set list. We made it through,
Yeah.
But then the timing of things and getting everything just running a show, I wasn't equipped to do that.
Yeah.
And man, I was embarrassed, even though it wasn't, the kids did, they played through a couple songs, but that one I think. I sort of, because I haven't really had many bad experiences playing any other show.
I gotta say that was
that
was a bad day all around.
Yeah, yeah.
And
everything came out all right.
You honestly though, for your worst day, it was my proudest moment for you.
Yeah,
because at that point we'd already worked together for.
Couple years.
You started working there at the 14. We were breaking all kinds of labor laws, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
But I think you were trading out gear or something at that point.
Yeah, I'd come in and just tune the guitars, and just wipe them down and get all the dust off them, and go through and play them. And
so and we,
yeah,
we had worked a lot together in the store at that point, and I saw your potential, just as. A store employee, and then you started getting better and better on guitar, and it just kind of like, well, I can teach this kid some stuff.
Yeah.
And it was more than just guitar playing, which you already had a pretty good handle on. It was just with the store stuff and working on guitars and giving you the confidence to do that.
Yeah.
Most kids at that age, because honestly, if you think about it. Once Bill got sick, Jan depended so much on me, and then I had to throw a lot on you.
Right.
And during that time, I think you were probably picking up as many hours as you wanted.
Oh, yeah. That's when I started becoming, the Monday through Friday.
Yeah. I know we were breaking labor laws then, probably.
No, I loved every second of it.
I know you did.
Yeah, so
you were awesome to have there. It really helped me out. But yeah, that's weird. How your worst moment is one of my proudest moments for you, as far as getting, stepping up, man. Because most kids that age was like, man, I ain't fucking with this shit.
Oh yeah. It was of no fault of anybody, that was there.
It was just.
We tried my best to get the kids go up there. Like I said, we played a couple songs and whatnot, but in my eyes, we failed putting on the show we had planned.
Right.
And so I haven't had that since. Every time I've played, it's gone pretty well. And trying to play with anybody, it's pretty solid, and I've had fun. So yeah.
Do you think that experience has kind of made you try to be more prepared?
Oh yeah, for sure.
With, all your gear and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, that makes me. I think that made me want to know how, from start to finish, a show can, like, how sound and how you get a band up there, everybody's mic'd, and how we go to the next song and start songs, and I think that equipped me with that, and that's when I started. That's what I wanted. Everything I wanted to own a bass. I wanted to own a guitar. I wanted to own a drum set. I wanted a soundboard. I wanted all the cables. I started wanting. I wanted to be able to fill in for anybody. I wanted to be able to kind of be wherever I needed, and so that I think that's kind of that. Thinking back on it, subconsciously, I think that was a good thing where it's like I needed. That makes me. It's okay. I need to know from A to Z how this should go. You know, in case anything were to happen. Or
and another thing. I mean, Like, this is like your first big outing,
Yeah, that was one of them.
you know.
Yep.
Outside probably school, you
Yep.
know,
Yeah.
playing in a band.
Right. Yeah.
Or having anything to do with a performance like that. And for it not to sour you on the process or, you know, going out again, because think about it, we went out with Huckleberry Clamshell like three
Oh,
more
yeah.
times.
Yeah, a few more times. Yeah, and had
You know,
great shows. Yeah.
yeah.
Had fun every time.
Yeah. And so yeah, that's amazing that it, you know, just implanted that.
And, yep.
We can do this better.
Yeah, yeah, it definitely didn't discourage me. I mean,
Yeah.
the day of, for sure, you know, I was bummed out that day, for sure, you know.
Yeah.
I kind of, you know, what did, I think I went home after that. I think I just like, all right, I gotta go home, you know, just, you know, have fun, everybody. And, but yeah, I think that did, you know, later on, after you get over the embarrassment of it, you know.
Yeah.
And, yeah, then it did push me into wanting to know that.
Yeah.
So.
Cool.
I guess it did turn around into a better moment than my worst moment.
ain't no home. Anytime she goes away, this house ain't no home. I know, I know, I know, I know, I know. Anytime she goes away, anytime she goes, oh, ain't no sunshine when she's gone. It's not warm when she's away. Oh, ain't no sunshine when she's gone. And she's gone too long. Anytime she goes away, I wonder this time where she's gone. I wonder if she's gone to stay. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. And this house just ain't no home. Anytime she goes away, I know, I know, I know, I know, I know, I I hate it, but I love it. Well, dude, man, I've kept you for quite a while here, and we've had a fucking great discussion. And you know, I love jamming with you whenever we get a chance.
Oh yeah.
And we made some killer little vibes tonight.
Yeah.
Can't wait to listen back to them.
Yeah.
But I got one more question for you. I mean, like, what do you see? You know, 5, 10, 15 years down the road for you as a guitar player? What do you think you'll be doing?
Oh, I definitely, I have that itch to play live again. You know, leaving this, cause I had to leave the store and find something that just, you know, I was making good money teaching. I had, you know, good handful of students. I think my top that I maxed out at was 21 students a week. Sweet. So it wasn't too bad, you know. Yeah. And then working at the store on top of it, you know, and I needed something to be able to provide for me and my girlfriend at the time, you know. Right. And needed something that I could be able to, you know, get a car that ran and you know, had an apartment and everything, and just have the benefits and for health insurance and all that. And so I think leaving the store definitely, like, I took a break from guitar for a little bit then, you know, where I just wasn't serious about it. And that's when I learned, you know, I was spoiled, where I was playing guitar every day, working on guitars, you know, making sure they play good, and then teaching guitar, just being absorbed in guitar, you know. And that's when I realized, oh, I was practicing and picking up new things, and you know, after I left the store, just like a plateau. I wasn't around musicians, I wasn't around, you know, anything. So it kind of made the guitar experience, you know, boring, and just, you know, I'm just playing the same stuff, and I'm, you know, not anything to bounce, nobody to bounce things off of. I had a couple other musician friends that we just kind of get together and play guitar, you know. That was always fun, but then that kind of ran dry, you know, because they'd move out, and so definitely took a break from it, but you know, and came back, and you know, so I've got that itch again to play live. So hopefully, you know, eventually be playing something.
You ever do much recording or put down ideas, anything like that, writing?
I've got nothing to record them on. I try to play them as much as possible and keep them in my head, so I don't forget how they go. And sometimes with my phone, I'll record something, you know, here and there. But definitely. I used to have all the equipment, you know. Then you leave school and you don't have the laptop, and you know, so.
I get you, man. Well, brother, thanks again for coming in. Let's
Yeah.
play a little something on the way out.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Throw me a little groove.
What this one here? What we were doing? Do you have this one recorded already?
No, I don't.
Cool.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
No, anytime, anytime.